on this computer. All right, it looks like we are recording, doesn't it? It looks like I do the right thing. Okay, so welcome everybody. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have you here and to have our very, very special guest, Vicki Opfer. I have to tell you that a story about Vicki. So when I first joined Young Living, it was 2006, and I think at that convention they were video recording all of the workshops. And I didn't go to the convention, but they allowed you to purchase those later. And so as I was watching through all of the presentations from the convention that I got later, I stumbled across Vicki's and I thought, oh my goodness, I had never seen a class. I had never gone to a class. I never seen one done because my sister is in Texas and I was in Iowa. So I saw Vicki's class and it finally gave me like the confidence. I loved her heart. I didn't want to do this network marketing thing. I thought it was kind of sleazy and salesy and ugh. And so I really wanted to share, but I didn't know how to share without coming off salesy. And after I watched Vicki, I thought, wow, I think I can do this. I love this lady's heart. And interesting that I thought that because later on I found out she had a program called Heart-Centered Sharing, which she generously shared with the entire company of Young Living and has updated over the years. And it is now, I think, kind of updated and in a book. Is that right, Vicki?
Right.
Okay, so she'll hopefully tell us how to get that as well. But that is one of the amazing things about the people that have been with Young Living a long time is that they share so generously from their hearts. And Vicki was the first one that really exemplified that to me, and I got to see what this company is really about. Vicki's not in our upline. She is cross-line up from us, and she has spent time with me on the phone helping me figure out Wild Family. She spent time on the phone with me helping me learn some things that I can do to coach other people through the information. She and a friend of hers actually programmed a whole program called YL Family so I could get data to track people's history and be able to coach them better and watch what's going on in my group a little bit better. So I am just beyond honored, first, that she has taken the time to talk to me. And as she did that, as we talked, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to have her share what she's sharing with me with my group because she does it best. So this is Royal Crown Diamond, Vicki Opfer. Welcome. We're so happy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just feel so honored to be here, Sonia. I admired your heart as well. And so I feel like this team is very fortunate to have you as their leader because you exemplify the same thing where we're actually out here genuinely trying to help people. It's very real for us. This isn't about, the money's wonderful. We are blessed. We can do a lot of good with it. But quite frankly, that isn't what drives me. What drives me is knowing that over the long run, we're truly making a difference in people's lives. And so I'm just so grateful that you asked me, and thank you, honored that you had asked me to come and speak to your group. And I'd love to know what the greatest challenges are. I know that we asked before the call started and got one good question about how to structure or how to find the people that you're going to do this with. So I think what I'll do is I'll get started with a little format that I often share, and then I'm going to try to speak fast and then try to finish up a little bit, maybe at the half hour. I think we're starting a little bit later, but I'll leave plenty of time for questions. So hopefully we'll be able to cover everything that you need to hear during this time. You're right. When I started in Young Living, I actually wasn't going to do the business because I thought network marketing was not my thing. I had already been in the natural health field for quite a while, and I was actually trying to help people, and I felt that made it kind of salesy and maybe not something that I felt that I could do. And then I met Gary Young, and his heart was so pure and so kind. I fell in love with the oils. I saw them doing miracles around me, and I just felt like I had to share them. It became almost a moral obligation to share them. So then I actually prayed a lot about it and said, please, God, if you can show me how to do this with integrity, I'll do it. If you take me there and you take me to the right teachers, I'll do this. And so bit by bit, I began to work on a system where my son Chris calls it an informed opportunity. The word opportunity is sometimes used in network marketing, but this is different. Giving people information, truly helping with the information that you're sharing so that then they can make a decision that's based on information to help themselves. So that's the purpose of this system. Interestingly, we kind of boiled this. And by the way, let me go back to the MLM for a moment. So yeah, I wasn't a fan. However, what I found is that it's just math. It's just a mathematical model. And if we take it for that and add into it the being able to genuinely help people, it's beautiful. Because what it means is it's people sharing with people, sharing with people. We can empower people to take care of themselves. It's an exquisite model when it's used correctly. So I'm really grateful for what I've learned about the model and how to use it in an appropriate way. So over the years, like Sonia said, we created a system called Heart-Centered Sharing, and now it's called Essential Sharing. In a book, we put everything into one place for people. It's through Life Science Publishing, and it's called Essential Sharing. So the two greatest problems that I see in Young Living that people have is the first one is normalizing that MLM thing, feeling okay about it. Because one thing I wanted to say about that is that if you act like it's icky, they'll feel like it's icky. But if someone says to me now, is that a network marketing company? I say, yeah, it is. And I go on to the next thing. I said, have you heard about Young Living? Do you use essential oils? I'm no longer ashamed of it. I just am not afraid of it anymore. We have to get over that if we want others to get over it as well. So we have to normalize it. The next thing I wanted to share with you is that we created a document that's in that book called Essential Sharing Success Strategy. And this is amazing. We kind of took our entire business and put it into one sentence to make it really easy for you. This is the sentence. Consistently help people share with friends in a duplicable way, emphasizing the Young Living lifestyle and essential rewards. Let me repeat that one more time. Consistently help people share with friends in a duplicable way, emphasizing the Young Living lifestyle and essential rewards. And Sonia, isn't that kind of everything? I mean, you can do this one-on-one with a friend. You can do it with two friends. You can do it with a little group of people. What we found is that as the groups get bigger and bigger, your duplication goes down. So then when people ask me, well, why isn't my group growing? If they're trying to do a lot of big classes, that doesn't duplicate well. And then they become the only one doing it. And things kind of, they get very tired after a while. Sonia, were you kind of a queen bee there for a while when you first started building?
Yeah, I had nobody duplicating for 4 years. It was
yeah, I did that too. What I did was when I actually started building, I had a downline of 24. And at that time, interestingly, people could call the company and say, well, this friend of mine told me about this oil, and her name is Vicki, Opfer, and they would put them under me. So otherwise, I never would have signed anyone up. But after 2 years and 24 people, I decided to do this and do it seriously, get the word out about this. And at that point, what I began to do is go back to the people that had signed up underneath me and just say, I'm going to do a little class. Now, I used the word class then. I don't use it now because it's not very duplicatable, because class implies teacher, professional, expert, etc. So now I might say, I'm having a get-together, I'm having a little oil sharing event, or having an event for people that want to share with friends. Would you like to come and bring someone? But back then I said, I'm having this little class, do you want to come? And I just kept asking these 24 people over and over until they either said, I am not interested and I'm not going to come, And then, even then, I would call them back and check in with them and just see how they're doing, and occasionally pop up and say, I'm still having these sharing events if you'd like to join us. But over time, they let me help them share. And then those people, and then those people, and then those people would share, to the point where eventually I had a group, and I began to identify people in 6 different legs that wanted to build with me. So you need a good, strong front line. You need a good first level in order to be able to find 6 people who want to share with you. So as you're getting started, or as you're building, if you don't have a strong first level, you need to keep sharing with people until you do. I know some people say, no, stack them all into 2 legs and see you can be a silver fast. No, I wouldn't do that. And the reason I wouldn't do it is that then all your friends and all the people that you really love are in 2 legs. So then what are you going to do to build number 3, 4, 5, and 6? What, you're going to build with strangers? I don't think so. So that's why I say put them first level to you. And of course, we always enroll people. If they come with a friend, the friend goes underneath the person that brought them. If there are 2 sisters, we put them together. If they work together, we put them together. We're always trying to build networks of people that know each other or that care about each other. This isn't about taking them and putting them on my front line. So that's how I found my 6, is just I kept rotating my time until I was building networks and helping people share, and then helping those people share. We can't ever assume that anyone is going to do this with us. In fact, I kind of assume that they're not. But if I can just help people share, that's really, then I have more people to work with, and more. And eventually some people will say, I want to do this. Right, Sonia? Then they identify themselves and say, okay, I'm in, I want to do this. And then it becomes our job to help them be successful. So again, these little events you can do with smaller or medium-sized groups. And we keep helping people share as often as we can until we can identify those people and build with them. This sentence, now let's kind of take it apart for a moment. Consistently. We have to do this business consistently. If I told you that I'm going to open a restaurant and I'm going to be open maybe one night a month, but I don't know what night, it might be different every month, I don't know. Yeah, you would be laughing and saying, yeah, that restaurant's not going to make it, because you have to be open consistently so that people know you're in business. And our business is the same way. It requires consistent effort, whether that's if you'll commit to 5 hours a week of building time, or 10 hours a week of building time, we can help you get there. We can help you get to the top. It's really 20 hours a week is even better, but 10 hours a week is perfect. Because guess what? 10 hours a week is 2 sharing events. 10 hours a week is 2 sharing events. And when we look at these sharing events, we look at inviting people, and we'll set aside an hour for that, even though it's not going to be all at one time. We're going to be calling people. When you call someone, you might be saying, hey, how are you doing? You're using your products. Do you have any questions? I'm doing this sharing event. Do you want to join us? Well, that's maybe a minute, right? And if it's a no, then you're done with that. Well, that's great. No problem. Let me know if I can help you. Goodbye. That's a minute. You can make 60 of those in an hour. If they're 2 minutes, you can do 30 of them. You have plenty of time to call people. The other thing we've realized with the data is that 7 out of 10 people don't want to share. They just want to use our products. That's lovely. We love them. We can keep asking them occasionally. We're supporting them. We're teaching them how to use this. But 7 out of 10, and sometimes it's closer to 8 out of 10, don't want to share this. So therefore, remember, you may have to get a bunch of no's before you get yeses. And that's very normal. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I've had people say, well, no one will come. And I'll say, well, do you call people? I called 5 people and they all said no. I go, yeah, you have to call 5 more. Then you'll get your 2 or your 3. So it's just, again, statistics prove that to us. So consistency is needed in this business. And I say that you can't run a business without at least 10 hours of investment in a week. If it's 5 hours a week, that's a little more like a hobby, but it'll keep going and building for you until you can get to 10 hours a week, and that's fine too. So just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And then the next part of that sentence, consistently help people share with friends. That's the key. You just keep doing that, don't you, Sonia? That's the key to our business. It takes a lot of people to reach the top of the plan. It takes a lot of people. I've got a document. I think I shared this with you, didn't I, Sonia, this graph? And you're welcome to share that with people. I calculate that it takes about 2,000 people to be a platinum, 5,000 to get to diamond. That's a lot. You can't do that many. It takes 30,000 to be a royal crown. Again, I didn't enroll those people. It happened without me. So I got it going, I got it working, and then a lot of people sharing with a lot of people. It's a team effort that gets you there. I did some new math, Sonia, this week that was new to me. I wake up with this stuff during the night, and I don't know where it comes from. But what I realized is that if we wanted to get to Royal Crown Diamond in 4 years, for example, we would have to work 1,080 hours a week if we were doing it by ourselves. If we were going to do all the work and get all those people enrolled, we would have to enroll 1,080 people a week. No, we would have to work 1,080 hours a week, sorry. And guess what? There are only 168 hours in a week. So it's not numerically possible. That's why you have to help people share, and then you have to be duplicatable or duplicable. That's very difficult for many of us. That's one of our greatest challenges, is how do you become duplicable? We've worked so hard now to legitimize essential oils, haven't we? We've worked so hard to make sure that people know we're credible. So when we sit down and we're introducing people, we want them to know that this is real and it's credible and it works and it's a great company. It's all okay. The problem is we lose duplication if we say too much about ourselves. And I'll often give 2 examples. Say that we're in, each one of you, I want you to imagine for a moment that you're in my living room. You've brought a friend. We have 2 other people that came and brought a friend, and I've invited someone. We're sitting in a circle. I'm just getting ready to start, and I say, "Oh, thank you for coming. My name is Vicki, and I'm glad you're here. Let's go around the circle, and everybody say your name and what you hope to learn." Doesn't that feel good? It means that I'm interested in what you're interested in. I want to know what you need. Doesn't matter what I need. What I'm here for is to help you. So that's example number 1. Hello, everybody. My name is Vicki. Let's go around the circle and everybody say your name and what you hope to learn. And by the way, this exact language is in the book several times. We've got all this written down in there for you. Now let me say it a different way. Hi, everybody. My name is Vicki Opfer. I've been in natural health for 41 years, actually. I've had the opportunity to study with some of the pioneers of natural medicine, and I've been working with the oils for 23 years. I've traveled the world to study and teach. I just feel really blessed to be here. Thank you for coming. Are you getting intimidated yet? Yeah. I'm intimidating myself. You can hear why anything more than your name feels a little intimidating, doesn't it? Our story can intimidate people. So I know some people feel like we need to tell our story. Now, if I was standing in front of the School of Nursing at the University of Hawaii, which I have taught there, I will pull out my credentials and you will hear everything. You know, I'm speaking to 500 or 1,000 people, you will hear my credentials. I will legitimize who I am. But in a living room, in a sharing environment, it's not appropriate. It kind of ruins it for you. Because this duplication thing, you can't get to those big numbers without it. And what is duplication? It's people sharing with people without us. Right? Without us. If we're required for them to be able to share, we have to work 1,080 hours a week to get to the top, and you can't. So duplication is required for this mathematical business model to function properly. So practicing being duplicable is interesting. Once I realized that this was needed, I had just come off of doing a lot of classes, and I realized I was studying network marketing. And in the book, Your First Year in Network Marketing, the Yarnells say you have to, the way that you introduce others is how they have to be able to introduce their friend. And it's so true, because what we want is for us to share with someone this evening in my living room, and for them to be able to go tomorrow and share with their best friend or their mom and get them signed up. No fear, right? That's duplication. And with the heart-centered sharing model, we've seen that work over and over again. It empowers people. And isn't that what we want? We want to empower people to not only take good care of themselves and be healthier and happier, but also to be able to share that gift with others. So let's see, we talked about duplication. Lifestyle. So yes, we're an essential oils company, but think about the fact that these are plants. And we know that the more plants we take into our bodies, the healthier we seem to get. And with the oils, I can say healthier and happier. It's just chemistry, folks. We get the chemistry into our bodies. Our bodies seem to know what to do with it. It fixes stuff when we eat. It would be like eating a huge vegetable salad every night for a year with all these different vegetables in it. You'd know you would get healthier. You wouldn't know which molecule was doing what, but you would know you would be healthier from doing that. And so getting these products into our lives, whether we're brushing our teeth or putting on, washing our hands or washing our clothes, whatever it is, if we can use these oil and oil-enhanced products, we become healthier and happier, as do the people around us. So it's a lifestyle. In fact, in that talk, if we were back in that living room, as soon as we finished going around the circle and I would be jotting down what they're looking to find out, like someone might say, I wish I had more energy, or, my kids seem to get sick a lot. I wish that didn't happen. Someone might just say, well, I've been feeling I've been working in the garden and I've got a little something going on in my shoulder. So we're thinking about those things as then we go through the outline, and I start by saying, this is a lifestyle. I'm so excited to share it with you. It's a whole lifestyle that is just life-changing. And then I start talking about oils, and then the Thieves products, and then the supplements. When I find things that I think will help people, for example, Marcia says her kids seem to get sick a lot, and I'm listening. So when I go to the Thieves, I go, oh, Marcia, listen, this might be helpful to you. Or I'm beginning to talk about ninja or the supplements or multigreens. Josh, listen, I get so much energy when I drink this ninja red. This might be a game changer for you, Josh. I'm not prescribing to him. I'm just sharing ideas of things that could be helpful so that he begins to get ideas of things that could help him. And that's how we can help them pinpoint out of our material. And when I'm doing the material, I have it here in front of me. I have the outline, and I've done it so many times I could do it with a blindfold on. But what I do is I look down and I look up and talk, and I look down and I look up and talk, because I want people to see, well, she's got notes. If she can do it, I can do it. Whereas if I just talked and talked and talked and talked, they would say, wow, isn't she smart? Not duplicable, but really smart. And that's not going to help your business. So we have to at least show that it can be done by anyone. The last thing here that I want to talk about is actually, let me just talk very briefly. I talked about the lifestyle, the essential rewards. That's the last part of that sentence. We all love essential rewards. Why do we love it? Because we get free stuff. I love free stuff. But you love free stuff too, I know. So at the bottom of this essential sharing page that I'm kind of using as a go-by here, we talk about enrollment options. So let's get back into that event. You're in my living room, and I've talked about all of these things, and I can do all that in about an hour. And sure, we could go on for 2 or 3 or 4, but an hour is about what new people can handle. So we cover everything in an hour. But we told everybody it's a 2-hour event. This is how we do it. You don't have to do it this way, but this is how we do it. So the first hour is completed, and at the end of the last 3 minutes of that hour, I say something like, some of you may want to order, so let me tell you how we do that. It's sort of a good, better, best thing. Good is retail. We have a retail option, and it's good because you get really great products, but I think you pay too much for them. A better option is our wholesale membership. And that's sort of like Costco. You get the membership, and then you can order wholesale from now on. And unlike Costco, as long as you order once a year, you don't have to renew it. It keeps it staying active. So let's all turn to page 100 in the product guide, and I'll show you the kits that are available, that you can, the memberships that are available. And we go through them 30 seconds with each one. And I say, but there's a best option, and that's called Essential Rewards. This is sort of like Costco meets Amazon Prime meets your bank card. So we get the wholesale prices like we do at Costco. We get cheaper shipping like we do at Amazon Prime, but we also get free points for free products that we would get on a bank card. And I don't know about you, but I have a card that I get back 3% on. I love spending that money. I'm always using that card because I want to get that 3% back. But Young Living gives 10% back starting when you get on the program, and after 3 months it goes to 20. So this is a real huge amount of money that you can get back as you order on a consistent basis. And one thing that we've learned is that people spend about $150 a month on cleaning products, personal care, and supplements. About $150 a month. So I'm going to encourage you, you've heard about all these beautiful products. I'm going to encourage you to use these products for the next 3 months and see how you feel. And get on that program, and then you get free stuff. So it'd be really fun. Something else I wanted to share with you about that. Oh yes, it's sort of like you can't eat a piece of broccoli and expect your life to change. You have to do something over a period of time in order to really notice a difference. So again, I'm going to encourage you to do that. So, Josh, how do you want to get started? I mean, of all of those options, which one would you choose? The people in my group, my son Chris came up with this program, The Good, Better, Best. And he introduced it at Silver Club in October of last year. And then again, he taught it at the convention this year. And the people that we have that have now adopted that have 100% enrollments with lifestyle on ER. And it's changing their businesses. It's rewriting history in our group. So if it can be helpful to you all, I hope that you'll try it as well.
Vicki, can you tell a little bit about what to do once you ask that question and there's silence?
Oh, yes, of course. So I'll say, so Josh, where do you think you ought to get started? And he might say, there are a lot of different options. He might say, I'm really not sure. And I'd say, well, what did you think about the Ninja Red, or you know, the multigreens, or which was your favorite oil, or do you notice a difference in just in the way you feel with the oils that you put on? I'm going to just ask questions. Do you need a good multivitamin? Do you need to change out some of your personal care products? You know, with the chemicals in there, they could be causing something in your life that you don't want. It could be having a negative effect. So my job is just simply to ask questions. And if Josh says, you know, I just don't think I can order right now, I say, oh, no problem. You let me know when you're ready. I mean, that's the pressure. None. Absolutely none. That doesn't happen very often for us anymore. You know, people by then are ready to get started. We've given them some examples or kind of help them understand some ways that they can improve their life. And generally, people are there for a reason. Now, if they don't want to, every now and then, we have 4 skill sets that are necessary to learn and practice and master and model in this particular building model. The first one is inviting. The second one is the presenting. The third one is enrolling people. And the fourth one is following through. So have you ever had an event? Those of you that have been building for a while will enjoy this. I don't want to put that on. I don't like smells. No, get that away from me. I don't want it. And it's like, oh my gosh, who invited this person? She doesn't want to be here. She hates smells. So then I would say, oh, it was an inviting problem. That's why he didn't sign up, because he obviously didn't even want to be there. So then what I say to people when I'm inviting them, I say, hey, do you want to come and bring a friend? They go, sure, I'd love to. I do have a friend. Tell me about your friend. Have you been sharing your oils? Are they using oils? If so, what kind? No, they hate smells. Oh, please don't bring them. It's just not fair because there are going to be a lot of smells there. So I'd actually discourage those people from coming. And that way I can save that event. It doesn't have to be a failure. Because I'll tell you something, if one person is sitting there like this, nobody signs up that night, that's for sure. So you can save these events by then saying, well, tell me about your friend. Is she using oils? Yeah, she's using oils. Well, what kind is she using? Well, she gets them at Whole Foods. Oh, she's going to love ours. I can't wait to meet her. What kind of oils is she using? A company called doTERRA? I say, oh, yeah, I know that company. I'd really rather meet up with her privately if you don't mind. I had an event that a friend of mine asked me to sit in on one time, and she did a very good job, but she didn't do the vetting of the guests. And one of the ladies was sitting there, and my friend was sharing lavender oil, and this lady went, this is the lavender I use, and it's from a company called doTERRA, and I'd be happy to help you all with it if you're interested. And it's like, no. I just felt like just grabbing her by the neck. And another one is, I have a friend, and she's already in Young Living. And this is an interesting one. Of course, we'd love to have people come, but not here, and I'll tell you why. What we found is that if you have too many members, more members than guests, the guests won't enroll, they get intimidated. You know how it is with us. Oh, well, let me tell you my frankincense story. Oh my gosh, you use joy for that? I can't believe it. I'll have to try that. And we're like this all over that meeting. And these guests back up and they get very quiet. And then when we say, so where do you want to get started? I just want to go home and think about it. Thank you. And they never order. So if you want people to order, you have to invite properly. You have to make sure you get the right people there that want to be there, that love oils or at least are open to it. So that's the inviting. And then the presenting is where we have to stick with an hour. We have to use a script. We have to open with just our name. We have to be able to look down, look up, and talk. We have to be able to do it in an hour, like I said, be cognitive of their time. And be respectful of it. So there are different skill sets. And again, we've outlined all of these in the books in great detail. And then the enrolling skill set. Well, what do you think? Where do you want to get started? What about this? What about that? Do you want to go ahead and get that set? It only takes a few minutes. Here, you can use my computer. Mary, will you sit next to Josh while he sets up his account? And I'm going to talk to Marcia. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me know. And so then I'm talking to Marcia. So Marcia, what are we going to do for your kids? Or maybe you ought to change out their personal care products. What do you think? I sure hope you have some thieves on hand, when they're not feeling good sometimes. Just trying to kind of give them some ideas and help them make a huge difference in their lives. Let's see. Oh, getting people to the class is hard. No, it's not. No. It's not hard. But remember, 7 out of 10 are going to say no because that's our stats. 7 out of 10 don't want to share. That's okay. We're looking for the 3 who want to come with a friend, the 2 or 3. And you have an hour. If you have a downline of 50 people, you can call every one of them in an hour if you need to. But out of 10 people, probably 2 or 3 will say yes. Too often people give up, and I've heard it over and over and over again. And the other thing could be the way you're inviting. I had this Gold that called me that said, I'm having challenges, my people won't come. And I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. She says, yeah, they don't even pick up the phone for me anymore. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Tell me when you leave the message, what do you say? And she said, well, I say hello. I'm sorry I missed you. I'm having this sharing event. And, I know you'd be really good at this. You know a lot of people. And I know you would be really good at this business. And I really think you should come and bring your friends. So call me back and let me know who you're bringing. And I thought, oh my gosh, how am I to tell her that that's scaring me? So I said, well, let's see if we can reword this a different way and you can try something different. Hi, I'm sorry I missed you. I'm having this sharing event. I really hope you'll come and bring a friend. So good. I just hope I get to see you soon. Take care. Bye. Click. So again, that's the inviting skill set, isn't it? So when people don't come, there's a reason. Look back through all of how you invited people to see where in there might have been a problem. Maybe you didn't make enough phone calls. And I want to talk just really briefly too here about the 80-20 rule. Um, okay. Oh, and I remember one other thing I was going to share with you too that, Sonia, that you asked me to bring up. The 80-20 rule, 80% of our time really needs to be spent in helping people share, really doing that sentence, helping people share with friends consistently, in a duplicable way, emphasizing the lifestyle in ER, 80% of our time. So if people can work 10 hours a week, that's 2 sharing events a week, or 8 a month, that will make a huge difference. But you could even do 7 and have 1 training or a conference call or a group meeting or something. Just get in there, get this time in there. Too often I hear people say, it's just not growing, and I'll say, well, how many intro events have you done this month? Well, I did 1, and I was going to set up 2 more, but I just didn't get to it. And I'm going, 1 a month isn't enough to build. It's not enough consistent effort to get that to happen. So the 80-20 rule is 80% of our time building, helping people share. That's the numbers, bringing in more and more people, helping more and more people. That's what builds this business. 20% on everything else you want to do. A lot of times people flip that and they say, well, I'm on Facebook 80 hours a week, and I don't know why it's not building. And I say, but you're not bringing in new people. I can look at your numbers in my program, and that isn't bringing in new people, and that's what builds a business. No, but I'm, posting all this information and all that. And I say, that's not what builds. What builds is bringing in new people, lots and lots and lots. And if you're duplicable, it'll gain traction, and it'll happen without you. If you're not duplicable, you're going to get very tired. So Chris has another concept that he has shared that might be of interest to you, and that is these businesses. It's sort of like having a 5-gallon bucket in front of you, and you look down in the bucket and you notice there's a hole down there. That's attrition. We lose about 3% of our group every month to attrition. It's natural. It's business. Any business has that. Ours is around 3% per month. And some people say, well, I'm just going to plug that hole. And I'm saying, no, I wish you could, but people die, they move, their finances change, they lose interest. It's 3%. Now, if you have 5% attrition, then you could probably slow it down if you stay more active with your group, if you train, if you make sure that they have a community, you're building with them, they feel informed and included. That will keep it to 3%. But we've got 3% people. Well, I'm going to stop at that hole. That's that 3%. I'm saying, no, that's going to happen. And they sit there with an eyedropper and drop a drop of water in. They signed up 1 person, right? Now they drop another drop and it goes out the hole. Because let's say that you had a group of 60 people and you were building, and where is 60 people taking us? That takes us to senior star and on the way to executive. And you're doing all the work, and nobody's duplicating you because you're an expert or a healthcare coach or a teacher or something. So you're doing all this work, but your group isn't growing. It's around 60 people. And it's like, yeah, you know what? 3% per month, 3% of 60 is 1.8. That's 2 people a month that you lose. If you're only bringing in 2 people a month and you're losing 2 people a month, you can't grow. So you have to bring in 3 people a month to have growth, you see? So you have to keep bringing in people, and it has to be greater than the number that you're losing. So back to the bucket, they say, well, I'm doing postcards and I'm sending messages out and I'm doing recognition with my team. And I said, yeah, but you're staring at the bottom of that bucket with that hole in it. That's not going to build anything. Do you want to grow? You've got to get a fire hose and fill that bucket with water. That's where you're going to reach the top. Each drop in that bucket is a person, and you have to fill that bucket with people. You're still going to lose a few out the bottom, and of course you want to stay connected with people and help them feel included and and informed, but that doesn't build the group. That only maintains the group. So that's that 80-20 rule. 80% building is consistently helping people share with friends in a duplicable way, emphasizing the Young Living lifestyle and essential rewards. So I would like to open the phone for questions. I talked a little longer than I thought I would before we got to questions. Sonia, do you want to open the
I will,
call
yeah.
for questions? Does
And
anyone? Let's see.
Let me see how I can do this.
And I'm looking at chats, but I'd love to. Okay, do the class is hard. No, it just takes practice getting people to the class. Practice, that's the inviting skill set. And then, because each of these skill sets, you have to learn them. You have to learn how to invite people, how to present, how to enroll. It's not easy at first. I remember the very first time I asked someone if they wanted to order, I said, "You want to get some?" I mean, that's what it sounded like to me. You want to get some? I felt like I was a frog. But I know it sounded normal. Do you want to get some? I know it probably sounded like that, but I was so embarrassed. It was like, I didn't want to ask. But after practice now, it's like, hey, let's get you signed up. It only takes a few minutes. Let's get it done. You want to do that? So it's just practice. So again, you learn how to do it, you practice it, you master it. And this isn't about taking advantage of people or manipulating. I swear to you, it has nothing to do with that. It's about genuinely helping them help themselves. And if they don't want to order, that's fine. There's no pressure. But if they do, you help them do it. Right?
So Vicki, you and I were talking some time ago. You talked about what happens when we are uncomfortable talking about rewards. And so that's one question for you, getting comfortable talking about rewards and making sure that they get results with their products. And then a second, a kind of related question to that is, I just forgot it, but helping people be comfortable. Oh, like, do you set up let's set up the next 3 months kind of a thing so that they understand that we're not just going to do this a month, but this is a long-term health coaching program sort of for them type of thing?
Yeah, and see, for me, it's not a health coaching because I'm not a health coach. I actually am, but no one knows that but me. And that's so non-duplicatable. Now, if you are a healthcare coach, then that's your business, but that's over here. You get to be the healthcare coach, but not while you're building. Yeah. But here's the thing. Yes, but it would be nice to say, let's go ahead and set up your essential rewards while you're here. You said you wanted this, this, and this. You're probably going to want to drink that Ninja Red over the next 3 months. So you could put that on your essential rewards and just plan for it to come again. Or you can change it. You might want to try their personal care products because we know that the toxic chemicals in personal care products can cause problems and people don't feel as well. So, we can use compliant language with people. We don't have to be non-compliant to genuinely help them. We just encourage them in the direction of their needs. And yes, and then for us, what I hope each of you will do is actually, as you get off this call, you're going to go pull out your computer, get your calendar up online, and go ahead and set some meetings. Depends on how many people you have in your group. Generally, just even 5 hours a week, one event a week for the next 4 weeks. There was a person who came to one of these events done by another person, another leader, and this leader had actually been stuck for quite a while at Silver, and this person started doing these events, these small events, rather than the big classes, and a woman came, and you know what? From that day, 41 days later, she was a Silver. She just shared her heart with everybody around her. She made it to Silver in 41 days. Today, she's a Crown Diamond. It's doable, but we have to be duplicatable for the people coming to feel like they can do that. So what a beautiful, beautiful thing when we've shared in that way, that they feel that they can go on and do this without us. But in the meantime, she must have done a lot of sharing in that 41 days. I would have loved to have watched her. and what she was able to accomplish. 10,000 in volume. So sometimes people say to me, well, I'm stuck. I can't keep gold. My third leg is only 3,000. It has to be 6. I work and work and work. And I go, yeah, you just need to keep doing introductory events in that leg with anybody that will come until you get that volume up. And I cite this example and say she created 10,000 in volume in 41 days. So if you work at this for 3 or 4 months, you should be able to get it done if you're doing it right. And if you're not, we need to keep adjusting it until you are, right? And Sonia knows these skills. She knows them very, very well. I 100% trust her to be able to coach you on this, to learn the skills. Then you have to practice them. It took me, when I realized I was not being duplicatable, I set out to become duplicatable, and I began to do these sharing events, but listen to myself. And I'd say things like, well, when I was in Egypt, and I go, wow, I blew it again, because that's not duplicatable. Or say something about what I've learned or something. And it took me doing 8 events before I did one that was duplicatable. 8. And on that event, I remember everybody's leaving, and I said goodbye, and I'm cleaning up. And all of a sudden I went, I did it. Everything I said, from the minute they walked in the door to the minute they left, everything was duplicatable. The refreshments, the presentation, the room, the little samples that I had on the table, the little display. And I stood up and down and screamed. I was screaming. I was so happy, because that was the first time I had ever actually been duplicatable. So if I can do it, you can do it. Anyone can do this. But I had to practice and practice and practice. And now I'm very, very comfortable, and I'm confident. And you master it, and then you model it. You just keep doing it and doing it. And this person that had been stuck at silver said, well, I'm just going to tell people they have to do it this way. And I said, no, you're not. You're going to do it. You need to model this yourself. You need to learn it, practice it, master it, and model it yourself. And that person did one of these intros, and one of these very first intros is where that other woman came who became a silver in 41 days. And that silver that had been stuck for so long became a diamond in 8 months, made it to diamond in 8 months. But that's through duplication. You can do that. I don't know if you all have heard, I'm looking at the clock here, of the 24-5-31 math model that I came up with. That was another middle of the night thing one night. But this is how it goes. Sometimes people say to me, well, I'm going to just work until I've enrolled 2 every month. And I go, okay. But like I told you in that math model a few minutes ago, that stalls out at 60. But here's the thing. In one model, I'm enrolling 2 people a month. I'll just keep sharing until I've enrolled 2, and I'm done. So at the end of that year, I've enrolled 24. And that's it. But let's look at it again. It's January. I'm going to enroll 2 people. It's February. I enroll 2 people. But I go back to the January people and say, I'm having this sharing event. Do you want to bring couple people? And they say, yeah, actually I will. And their people sign up. And now it's March, and I sign up 2. And then I go back to the February people and the January people and ask them if they'd like to come and bring 2. And they say yes. How many would you have at the end of that year? Turns out it would be 531,440.
Oh.
531,440.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's say, no, you didn't do it right. You tried. The first month you enrolled 2. The second you tried, you did your best, but you failed miserably. I'm sorry, by 90%. 90% total failure rate. At the end of the year, you'd have over 5,000, and you're a diamond. Even if I'm sorry, 50,000, right? 50,000 is 10% of 500. That's your royal crown. Your royal crown, 50,000 people. Let's say you failed so miserably, you failed 99%. Now you have over 5,000 and you're a diamond. That's the power of this network marketing model. That's helping people share with others in a duplicable way. If you can master this, if you can discover how to make that work within your life, within how you like to share, it's all a little bit adjustable, but you also want to make sure you're being duplicatable. And again, you don't want to just, there's some people who say, well, I'm just going to sell them a kit. I'm going to sell them a kit. Let me just cover that briefly. Let's say Josh came and he said he needed more energy. And we said, just get this starter kit. We can get more later. We'll figure it out later. So he gets the starter kit. We call him back, and it's like 3 weeks later. But what we don't know is he's mad. He's really mad. You know why? He still needs more energy. And that kit didn't help him. And he's been thinking about this for about 5 days. He's going, I spent nearly $200, and I still wish I had more energy. And then that darn kit didn't give it to me. So we're calling him back. Hey, did you get your kit? He says, yeah, got it. Thank you. He's going to be polite. Oh, well, great. Well, listen, do you want to talk now about, getting the other stuff you want that is actually going to help you feel better? And he goes, yeah, let me get back with you on that. Because he's done. He feels ripped off and conned. I've spoken to people. I've called them that people have gotten signed up that way. Yeah, it didn't help me. This stuff is a ripoff. This MLM thing, they just make you spend money and you don't get any benefit. I don't know what to do with these oils. It's like, oh no, we so failed. We had this opportunity and we failed. Well, do you want to come and bring a friend? No. Can't think of anybody, but if that changes, I'll let you know. So that's when we do kit sales and not lifestyle orders. That's what happens. So when I'm talking to Josh, I'm saying, well, what do you think? Where do you think you ought to get started? Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Have you thought about this or that? Yeah, that sounds really good. Which kit do you think you ought to get started with? See, he knows what he can and cannot do. It may be a $45 kit plus something else he wants. That's perfect because that will get him started and change his life. If that's what he needs to do, I'm fine with it. Usually people get the premium starter kit because they want that free diffuser, they want some oils, and then they'll get 1 or 2 other things that'll be life-changing for them. That's what I really like to see, because then I know we're on the right track. So just keep that in mind, where when you think you've done a great job of selling somebody a kit, it may not be as great a job as you thought. So questions, let's see if there are any other questions. Yeah, 90% fail rate, Royal Crown. I know it's a tough life, but someone's got to do it. And I have to tell you, all this life is phenomenal. Sonia can tell you this, and I just enjoy Sonia so much, and your upline. I just think all of you, Evangeline, I just love these people. So it's really fun to get to be on this call and help you all tonight if I can. Reaching these top ranks, life changes, doesn't it, Sonia?
Yes.
It's in a way that's different than most people realize. Most people think, oh, I'll buy a yacht and a Maserati, and it's like when you get to the top, you go, well, what would I do with the yacht? I get seasick, I don't want a yacht. Maserati, I don't even think they're that attractive. What do I really want? What car do I really, 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 really want? And where do I really want to live? And how can I help these certain people in my community? You come up with just the most interesting ideas and ways to help people. Often they don't even know you're doing it, and that's kind of fun. You get to be that secret person. But it's about optimizing what you have to help others. And I live in a beautiful home, and it's small and modest, but I had it built, and so it's new and clean, and got columns, but it was rather inexpensive. But I love it here. And I could have had a big house, but what would I do with that? I don't need a big house. So again, I'd rather use the money and I've got a family of 18 of us, and we go to dinner once a month, and we don't choose real expensive places, but we like to eat, and I cover the bill, of course. And this next January, I'm taking everybody to Hawaii. Most of them have not been, and I want them to experience it. So that's going to be something that we're going to do that I'm doing for my family. They're just over the moon. They're just so excited. They talk about it all the time. But it's just things that we can do for our families, for me, that are totally life-changing. Yeah. And again, how many pairs of shoes do you want? If you have too many, you can't get them in your closet. So I just have a few. I don't need any more than that. It's kind of fun. I get the ones I want. So that's the thing.
You've got a question, I think, from Skyla, maybe, and the name of your new book. Could you repeat that again?
Oh, I've got it here. I hate this. I hate it when, and here's my book. It's like, oh, please don't make me do that. It's so salesy, but it's called Essential Sharing, and it's from Life Science Publishing.
And this has been free, all of this information that you, for what, how long have you been with Young Living?
I've been with Young Living for 23 years, and I
They were actually
wrote,
even like
huh?
official. Isn't that like before they were actually even
No, I joined in 94,
94?
in the spring in April of 94, and it was probably a year or two old. My member number is 5010. It's one of the real low ones. But I think originally they changed the numbering system when I was in for about a year. I think originally it was in the 1200s. So that's kind of fun. And then they redid everybody and they did them alphabetical at that point. But
So
yeah, it's
you have made this really professional looking now, which is nice
yes,
for nice for everybody that is actually going to use this for themselves and for their teams. And not that
yes,
it wasn't professional before, but it was through PDF and etc. Right? So people would
yes.
share it, and they didn't value it as much as they could because they
Well,
didn't pay for it.
I
So I
think it's only
always love
like
it.
if
You know,
you're in their special program, it's like $16, and otherwise it's 20. So it's kind of a good investment. Yeah, it's cheap. Um,
somebody else
but
asked real
the
quick.
thing that I would say about it is that for example, the appendices in the back are as important as the book, and one of them is on page 150 is the script, and then after that is that essential sharing success strategy that I think is a real important document. That's what I've kind of worked off of tonight. So those are things you kind of need to cover it, at least scan it cover to cover.
Yes.
It would
And
be helpful.
someone else was asking your Wild Family program. Is it still correct that if you have less than 50 people in your group, you can download that and play around with it? Is that?
Yes, it is, but it's not very useful at that level. It's really more for someone to get into it and see if they want to make the investment. I think golds and above needed.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. Below that, Oily Tools is awesome. The VO works very well for a lot of people. So the investment, the program, it's not a moneymaker. I don't want to make money on it. I'm happy with my income, but I have to pay the author and the webmaster and keep them happy. They're not in Young Living, and we don't sell a lot of them. So I just kind of kept. I never even talk about it.
Yeah.
And people find out about it. I'm happy for them to have it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like I'm not going to be one of those people. The reason heart-centered sharing was free all those years is I've never wanted to be one of those people who wants to take advantage of this network.
Right.
That kind of bothers me when that happens. So that's why it was kind of hard for me to decide to get the book published, but then I saw that we had to do it. It had so many details at this point. It needed to be organized in a way that people could use it. So, yeah, so the program, when you're golden or above, you really want to look at it, and then is when you get it in demo and see what it can do.
Okay. So what other questions? Mm-hmm.
Yes, what's the difference? Oily Tools and Wild Family. Wild Family takes a static look at a given month of data. Like right now in my program, I've got July, but it was as of the 1st. It doesn't, Oily Tools is virtual. It's virtual. It goes into your virtual office and gives it to you right now. However, the Wild Family gives you statistics and keeps a history. It collects inactives. That's why when I know that people are twice as likely to go inactive if they don't have anyone in their downline, or they're half as likely to go inactive if they have just one person in their downline. I've learned all these things about our business from staring at these stats for 20 years. And and I think that the heart-centered sharing began in the 90s and really became a document by 2000. So it's been around a long time and well tested. Sonia, I tell you, so many people have made it to Diamond using that system.
Yeah.
It's really heartwarming to know that it could be that helpful to people.
Just out of curiosity, how many diamonds do you have in your group?
I only have 10.
10. Only 10. She's
Only
only
10. But we have some that are getting very close. And our group has, since Chris came in, my 32-year-old son came in as my business partner a year ago, and something is happening in my group. It's just waking up, and people are just getting incredibly more active again. I think they needed to look at a younger face. So one of the things that we're doing is we're setting up a studio right now as we speak. Chris just left a few minutes ago because we're setting up a recording studio, and he's going to do a bunch of 5-minute videos about a lot of these things.
Okay.
And he said, well, you're going to do some of them. I said, nope, You're
Yes.
going to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the camera, my love. It loves you.
Yeah. Well, he loves it. He should have been. I always wondered if he was going to be an actor or a comedian or an attorney, because he thought about doing all of those, and he became an attorney and then a district attorney. And then a year ago, he agreed to come in as my business partner, and he left. He was a very, very successful district attorney here in town. So
He did a phenomenal job at Young Living Convention talking about essential rewards. He did.
yeah, he's funny, isn't he?
So for some of you that went to convention, here was Chris Opfer, and he did the
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? YL University is going to post the recording that they did of that class,
Good. I was going to ask
and
you.
and
Yeah?
his PowerPoint.
Oh, good. I didn't
Yeah.
get to see the PowerPoint because I watched it in review. I was only in the
Yeah.
room for a few minutes. So,
Uh-huh.
oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah, that should be. I think they have everything they need, and they're going to be posting that, so that'll be fun.
Okay, so Vicki, I'm looking at the comments, and Kim
Yes,
says,
yes.
I have been messing around with webinars, but I'm thinking that this is not very effective. Do you have experience with webinars? I was giving people small samples to use during the webinar.
Well, I would say test different theories. And I do want to say that what Chris and I have determined is that there are two really great ways to build networks in Young Living. One of them is if you already have a network set up. We have people that have brought a whole group in from another company, or that have had a Facebook following of 100,000 people, or had been doing a blog for 10 years. And so when they started talking about Young Living, people just came in with them. That was that. Then there are the rest of us who don't have a big following. Now, again, back to even a big mega church, if they don't mind if you talk to people and it's 5,000 people, that will work. And then there are the rest of us that don't have a huge network to draw from. This other system works very well. So for the people that I know that are trying to build on social media, but don't have the set network, don't have the built-in network, the challenge that I hear is most of the people that get on are already signed up. I hear that over and over again. So, but for webinars, I think it's going to be a great way to train your people, to give them an opportunity to see you, to build community, but probably just not, but that's that 20%, remember? The 80-20, we're building 80% and we're helping and supporting and training the other 20. So the webinars would be great for that. But I haven't seen it work very well. Have you, Sonia, seen it work well for building?
Well, I don't do webinars, but actually Skyla has had some success with maybe not necessarily a webinar, but kind of one-on-one Skype type of things. Skyla, are you able to unmute real quick and answer Kim's question on that?
Yeah. Well, I think I have had a little success. It was not the cornerstone of my business building by any means, but and Kim, you've probably heard my story, but early on I asked people if they would help me test out some, video software kind of thing. So FaceTime or Skype or Zoom or whatever. And had lots and lots of willing friends in lots of different states say, of course, I would be happy to help. What can I do? And I said, well, I'm going to send you a little package. And when you get it, just let me know. And we'll hop online and we'll just talk about what's in the package. It was kind of a little tricky, but I actually got a few enrollments out of that. And people were delighted to help, much in the same way. I think if you were having an in-person, a class in your home and you said, listen, this Sonia Swan is coming. I really need you to just be in the chair. You don't have to do anything.
No, see, that's a problem, because then what we end up telling people is don't buy anything, don't buy anything, don't buy anything. And then and then Sonia talks and says, so are you ready to go ahead and get that set up? And they go, no.
I was just supposed to sit in the chair. I know that's probably not at all.
No, I know. I'm playing with you.
But that's what I use.
Was that able to duplicate? Did any of those people that you signed up that way sign up others in the same way?
I don't think so. A few of them have signed people up, but I think it was more the one-on-ones.
Yeah.
None of them have turned into gregarious builders.
Yeah. Okay. So again,
yeah,
it's a great idea to test these ideas, and even test them for, like, I would say 3 months to see if you can see that growth happening without you. We're looking for the growth, people signing up people without us, because that's duplication. And then we know we're onto something. But I applaud you for your willingness to try something different, and still, I still do one-on-ones with people on Skype and so forth whenever needed, wherever they are around the country, or even on the phone. I'm even happy to do that. I've got to talk to my cousin. She wants an intro, and it's like, oh, I'm so glad. That's going to be so fun. So I think whatever we have to do, we do it. And then we look for things that will duplicate to build our business. So keep playing with things and see what will, here's what happens. That event that I did, that I said I was finally duplicatable, it was the 8th one. There was a woman who attended that night who said, I think I'd like to do this. And right now she's dashing through the business. And it's just, she, for a long time, she said, I want to do it. And then she decided to become a massage therapist, which is kind of the kiss of death to our business a little bit, because that's a long process, and the people then have to build a clientele and have a place to go, and it's not easy to build that way. And then she decided to become a hypnotherapist, and then she had a baby, but now she's building, and she's passed silver on to gold, and we're having a lot of fun. So at least she, what they say in the book, Your First Year in Network Marketing, is that however you introduce someone is how they have to be able to share with others. They do it. That's where they're imprinted. And I've got examples that'll just be so amazing of people, like a lady that I introduced with a raindrop, who, because she needed it. And 5 years later, she called and said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I said, what? And she said, a friend of mine was in an accident. I can finally share the oils with someone. I said, yeah, that was me who taught her that. Yes. So, so look for things that will duplicate, and set the dates. Get out there and set some dates and have some fun. Just realize you're probably going to mess up a lot, that you may have to do 10 of these before you get confident about it. But it's okay. There's no problem. That's what we've all had to do, is just try things and fail, and try more things and fail. I've told so many people, I've tried 1,000 different things and 995 of them didn't work. And then I say, no, really, I really tried 1,000 things.
But you were persistent, and you didn't give up, and you kept going, and you learned from your mistakes, right? And
I want to help people, Sonia, and I can't help people if they're not using the oils. Right. If they don't sign up, if they don't order again, if they don't go on ER. And it's not that I want anybody to do anything. You know me better than that. I want them to do what's right for them.
Best for them, yeah.
But what I really hope for is that people get what they need and they stay on these oils. We know that they help us live a healthier and happier life. We know that for sure. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this work that you all are doing to get this out to the world. So be brave. Be brave and do it.
You mentioned a couple of times a book called Your First Year in Network Marketing.
Yeah.
Is that one of your key tools? Do you like people to read that? What is your...
No, not really. I kind of follow the Jim Rohn work. I love his stuff. The reason I brought that up is that I've read probably 20 or 30 books on network marketing. Most of it I can't use. I don't know about you, but they say your prospects, and it's like, these are not my prospects. These are my friends. I don't want to be anybody's prospect. That's gross. So, sell, overcome their objections, make them buy anyway. I said, I don't want to do that. So I've gotten all these books. I've probably, like I said, read at least 20, maybe a lot more. And I'll say, oh, I did learn one thing from this book that I could use. And in that book, there were two. And one of them was that however you introduce someone to your products is how they must be able to share. And the second thing I learned from that book was there will be someone who means a lot to you in your life who's going to say to you, this is a really stupid idea. This Young Living business, stupid. And it's going to kind of hurt your feelings, and you're going to feel like quitting. And when you hear that, you'll know it, and then you'll think, oh, this was the person okay. All right, thank you. That was what it was for me. I remember a very dear friend saying, Vicki, what are you in this for? This is so ridiculously stupid. And I went, oh, first I was like, and then I went, oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I got home going, yes, I heard it. And I can do this,
Yes.
So, but if you want to read the books, do so. There's always something to learn. Some of them have really good ideas in them. I've gotten a little bit from a lot of different books, like you have. We get ideas from everywhere.
Yeah.
And everyone has something to offer, don't you think?
I do. I think there's great ideas, and some people just reword them in a way that we can receive it. It's a lot of the same information. And really the secret is doing it. The secret is
filling the bucket,
getting
that fire hose. And that's with people. And you can get there with duplication. If you're being duplicatable, people will duplicate you. I love your dog. Oh my gosh.
So she's wanting attention really bad.
Oh, let him in there, girl.
It's a fox terrier, right?
A rat terrier.
A rat terrier, yeah. I grew up with toy foxes, so toy fox terriers. So yeah, just get out there and do it. Say that what I'm going to ask you to do is, when I first started building this business, a woman in my upline named Rita Anderson said, Vicki, I heard that you have to do this for at least 2 years or it won't work. And I said, oh, because I knew nothing. And she said, will you make that commitment, try it and do it for 2 years? And I said, I will do that, Rita. I'll make that commitment to you right now that I will stick with this for 2 years. Well, guess what, folks? There were times in there that I wanted to quit. It's not working. I've worked really hard and my check was only this amount. I could have gone to work at Walmart and got paid more. But then I said, no, Vic, you know what? Your dad always told you that you keep your commitments or you die on the way. There are no other options. So I had made that commitment that I would do this for 2 years, and I will. And in 2 years, a little over 2 years, I was a diamond. I was the second diamond in Young Living.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's doable, but you do have to do it. I would say 10 hours a week for 2 years will get you someplace really, really wonderful where you will never have to work for anyone else. And 4 years doing that, and if you're being duplicatable, you can probably get there a lot faster than I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to do all the specialty classes. And do you still do specialty classes? But the 10 hours you're talking about is two basic classes every week.
It really is. It's 2 intros, and you're calling people. So these intros are 5-hour investments, an hour for inviting, say 20 minutes to set up, 2 hours for the event, 40 minutes to take down, and an hour for follow-up calls. That's 5 hours, right? So if you moved it together. So in 10 hours a week, you can fit it here and there. You can make the phone calls in your car. You can do 10 hours a week. So that's 2 intros. If you did, that would be 8 a month. But even if you did 7 and then did one kind of training, a product training or a business class if you want, once you get the hang of this, but we need a lot of support with products and so forth. And then, like I said, the 80-20, you also want to be putting stuff on Facebook and all that, but that alone is not going to build for you. So you've got to get out there and introduce this to as many people as you humanly possible in that 10 hours a week, every week for 2 years. And yes, do some product trainings, but like I said, that's the 80-20 rule. And sometimes people will flip it and they say, well, I'm doing classes on this and classes on that and classes on this. I don't have time for intros. And it's like, well, I bet your people are really well trained, however many you have, but you can't grow a business that way. Mm-hmm. But you'll have, and they'll say, but then they'll buy more. And I'll go, they will only buy a certain amount. If you have 100 people and they spend $100, that is $10,000. If you can get them to spend $200, that's $20,000. Trust me, they're not going to spend $500. You can train them all day long and they're not going to spend $500.
Unless they're making money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that alone will not get your group to grow. It'll sustain it, it'll help maintain it, but it won't grow it. Growing it is lots and lots and lots of people. Mm-hmm. People sharing with people without us. They have to be able to do it without us.
Right.
So Sonia, are your girls already sharing?
Actually, my oldest is sharing. She did
Uh-huh.
her savvy makeup class on her first basic
Whoa.
gathering. We'll call it, not a class, right?
Yeah.
So her first oils gathering, she signed up 2 relatives, and
Oh,
so yeah, she's excited.
that's wonderful.
My others aren't quite old enough yet, but
Yeah, I know. But I can tell she wants to. She's
she's
agreeing.
over here taking notes. Actually.
Yeah, and I'm watching her behind you, and she's thinking about things. So she's getting this all figured out. So that's great. That's great.
Come to all these with us. Well, does anybody else have any more questions that
Well, and Sonia, what we realized with Chris is that when I joined Young Living, he was 9.
Oh, wow.
And when he came to work with me last year, I said, "You already know all of this. How is that possible?" And he said, "Mom, when you were teaching down in the family room, I was at the top of the stairs playing with Legos or G.I. Joe."
Yeah.
And he said, "When you were doing your conference calls, I was in the next room. I could hear everything."
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's right there with us. It'll be easy for you when you are ready. So any other questions? Let's see, a tiny bit of insight on how you welcome new friends to your team. Personal enrollees, what does the first month look like? I'm not very good at that. I know Sonia would be better than I am with that, because I have a tendency not to come in on people too much. I certainly welcome them. I tell them to please call me with any questions they may have. I do my follow-up call and just say, "Do you have any questions? Is there anything I can help you with?" Oftentimes they do, or they want to chat a little bit. I give them an opportunity to share with friends. But what I do is every month for a while, I'm checking in with them just for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. And that's what I do with our personally enrolled. And it's interesting, there's the ones that we've enrolled this last year are so excited to share. I just find it very interesting. It's a whole new thing. So, but some people do. I often, when people sign up, the smallest size of the desk reference, that if you buy a whole bunch, you can get them for like $1.50. When they sign up, I give them that. If they're a very, very special friend, I give them the medium-sized desk reference. Mm-hmm. Or if they start sharing, I might give them the medium-sized desk reference as a gift to give them more and more information. If they are interested in the business, I might give them a Jim Rohn CD or something like that. When they start making ranks, because the group is so big, I can't do what I used to do. And I see a lot of people, Sonia, that make it to where we are, and then they try to keep doing that, and you just can't do it. I would be busy 24/7 if I was acknowledging with a gift everybody that's up ranking every month. But we do a lot of phone calls, we do some gifts, and just do what we can. As you do what you can, and with the time that we have.
Luann Brown raised her hand. Luann, did you have a question? Are you, I'm just going to check and see if you're muted or not muted, or did you mean to raise your hand? Let me unmute you.
There's a question while you're doing that. Does heart-centered sharing and essential sharing have the same information? Essential sharing has the entire heart-centered sharing document in it, all of the update files that I wrote, plus a ton more. There was a book that I wrote even years before that was published called Harmony, Joy, and Abundance. It's like, what do you say to your friends? And what if they say this? What are you going to say back? And then what? So that's all in there. It's kind of got a lot of information. I think it's 168. 168 pages. So it's got a lot of, I think you'll like it. It's just kind of friendly.
Oh, good. So Luann, I have unmuted you. Are you on audio? Do you have audio?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Luann.
Hi. Thank you so much. How is the best way to reach people that are out of town? They might be relatives of downline or something where you want to.
Oh, good. Thank you for bringing that up. Well, as far as training, when I said do a members-only training maybe once a month, with that 8th, you could do 8 classes or 8 intros, but instead do 7 and do something local for the people there. Have it be a members only, and I'll get to your question in just a second. Make sure that it's members only, because we don't want people to imprint, which is what your first year in network marketing basically says what happens, on a class on thieves, because then they think if they're going to share, it has to be with somebody that needs thieves. They can't share any other way. And you go, sure you can. And they go, no, that's okay. They get so stuck and so imprinted, just like the raindrop lady. And then once a month, you can easily do with the same information that you did your get-together with, you could put on a conference call, get onto freeconferencecall.com, and get to the people that are at a distance and let them come on and get trained there. And then if you want to introduce people, I've done so many. And one of the diamonds in my group I introduced over the phone. And so she didn't even have stuff to play with. I just talked to her about it all. She ordered her at that time, I think it was a $45 kit, or, it was the everyday oils kit, at that point. So it can be done. And so just do whatever you can. Don't feel like you're limited to doing it this way or that way. This way, with the small home events, we know works the best for duplication, but I've done everything. I have done every imaginable kind of introduction. And when I say I've tried 1,000 things and 995 didn't work, I have. I remember being in a bookstore where it was so tight with people around me that I couldn't move my feet. I remember asking Whole Foods if I could use a little conference area that they said they had. It was in a storage room with boxes all around us, but I did an intro there. I mean, I have done them everywhere, and you just never know what's going to happen from those. Yeah. So, Luann, just know that you can get on the phone. You can introduce people. You can train people. They're going to love to hear from you, whether it's one-on-one or getting on a little conference call. They're very easy to set up.
And I was signed up over the phone, Luann. My sister just called me, and it was her passion and her excitement that got me to enroll, and she just walked me through it. How to do it on the computer over the phone. So
sure.
I didn't see a class until probably a year later.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, try everything. Talk to everybody that you can. We don't want to be obnoxious, but we have to be brave enough to step up. I honestly feel like God wants us to do this work, and so we've got to kind of pull ourselves up and get to work. And we're doing it to help people. It does. It helps a lot of people. It's changed so many lives that I feel like we kind of have an obligation to do it. How could you? It's sort of like if you don't, Sonia, isn't it like hiding your light under a bushel?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Donna is saying, my downline is used to me doing a weekly class. How can I switch it to an intro class without my downline feeling left out?
So a weekly class. So take a month and do 2 intros and maybe 2 classes. Or if you can do 10 hours a week, do 6 intros and 2 classes. And invite them. What I started doing at that point is saying, I'm trying things a little differently, and I'm trying a new format for introducing people to the oils. I'd love for you to come and bring a couple of friends. Mm-hmm. And just let them know that they're welcome and you'd love for them to come. And then but understand that this successful inviting, you do have to listen and then say, and if they say, yeah, I do have a couple friends, well, tell me about your friends. Have you been sharing with them? Are they using oils? If so, what kind? Don't be afraid to ask questions. What are they trying to do with their health and wellness? And see if you can, do that, and then just see if, I kind of think they're going to take to it. Don't you, Sonia? I think they love it because they've learned and learned and learned, but they really haven't had a lot of opportunities to share, and they're probably shy about it. I know I was. And so, boy, I would have loved to have had my upline say, hey, I'm having a sharing event. Do you want to come and bring a friend? Mm-hmm. I would have been all over that.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to hurt their feelings or feeling left out, especially if you ask them if they'd like to come. And remember, 10 hours a week is 2 intros, so you could actually probably cover a lot of your people.
And Vicki, did you when you were having people invite people, you really kind of selectively chose some of those people, yes, maybe, or said, I'm limited to 6 or 8 people in my house. So
Yeah.
unless you bring a new person,
Yeah.
this is a class where you must bring a new person.
Well, I wouldn't say it that way because that sounds kind of pushy, but the way that I word it is, so I'd love for you to come and bring a friend. And they say, well, I'll just bring someone from my downline, or I'll bring a friend, but she's already in Young Living. And I say, oh, this is for people that aren't signed up yet, but I'll see you at the raindrop training on the 15th, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and I deflect off to something else that's coming up. I don't want to hurt their feelings, but again, if you get too many members and not enough guests, the guests aren't going to enroll, so you didn't help anybody. Mm-hmm. So the one thing that I thought that I'd like to kind of leave you all with is, what if there was a filter where everything we did in Young Living had to fit through that filter, and that filter was truly, genuinely being of service to others, truly and genuinely helping people. So if you were doing an intro and you ended up with too many members and it scared the guests and they didn't sign up, did you help them? No. Then you can't do that. Okay. If this guy Josh doesn't get the stuff that he needs to make himself feel better, but just gets the starter kit, did you truly help him? No. Then you can't do it that way. You see, by using that as your go-by filter on everything, sometimes the answers are surprising. Well, of course we should invite everybody. It doesn't matter how many people are there. No, because if you get more than about four guests or even 5, many more than that, you see enrollments go down instead of up. That means you helped less people instead of more people. And one story I'll share with you, and then you can cut me off at any point. I started doing classes, and the classes got bigger and bigger, and I thought, great, this is right in the beginning. When I was building, great, this is, I can leverage my time, I can talk to more people at once. And I found myself with 50 people at a Marriott, about 25 members and about 25 guests. And I think Sonia shared this with you. And I talked for 2 hours with the microphone standing in front of the room, and then I finished. And some people were walking up to me to ask me their personal questions. And then out of the corner of my eye, some people are talking, some are getting ready to leave. And I see this young man walking toward the door. And he's looking at the floor. And I'm thinking, he's all by himself. I wonder how he came here. And I'm talking to the person in front of me and kind of looking at this guy. And he's watching the floor, walking toward the door. And just before he got to the door, he turned and looked at me. And the pain in that young man's eyes will never leave me. I can see it as I go back to that memory. He had so much pain going on. And I looked at him, and he looked at the floor, and he walked out, and I never saw him again. Did I help him?
Yeah.
Who was I helping? Who was I glorifying? Let me put it that way. Who was I glorifying that night? It was me. I was the teacher. I was teaching this marvelous stuff. It was me in front of this group. But it didn't help him. I knew at that moment something was wrong. I said, there's something wrong here. There is something wrong here. This is not supposed to happen. I mean, we helped people, that's true, but I stopped duplication. Nobody could share because I was intimidating. I didn't try to be. I just had done it long enough. And if someone just signed up today, they couldn't have a class at the Marriott tomorrow for 50 people. So you totally lose duplication. So I take their opportunity away from them to share, but I still think about that young man. If he had been in my living room with those three or four people, could I have helped him?
Yes.
Of course I could have. Of course I could have. And that haunts me to know that I didn't get to help him. So, but it taught me an extremely valuable lesson that hopefully I can pass along to you. That we need to do it differently. We need to, it doesn't have to, the size just can be one person in your living room or 2 or 3, 2 people bringing someone, you inviting a couple of people, get creative. But once you go over about 5 guests, what ends up happening, see in that second hour, Josh, what do you think? Okay, yes, what do you think about that? Everybody's listening. Everybody's listening. They're learning how we talk about this stuff. Now, what if I just signed up Josh one-on-one and said, this is what you must do, and this is what you should get. And then he's on his way home, and he says to his neighbor, hey, how are you doing, Marcia? And she says, oh, the kids are sick again. And he goes, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, they feel better. Have a good night. And he walks in the house. See, he's imprinted on his situation. Mm-hmm. But in this room, where we have all these situations going on, and I'm talking to Josh, and then Mary's helping him get signed up. And I say, so Marcia, what are we going to do for your kids? What are you going to do? What do you think you ought to do here for them? What do you think about this? What about that? You thought about this? Do you want to go ahead and get that set up? Yeah, so Josh is just finishing past the computer. Perfect. Why don't you sit next to her and make sure she gets it done right? We make them sign themselves up so they know how it happens. And then they can share with a friend, and they will know how to do that. And now I'm talking to the next person. Think of the richness, the diversity of what that they're going to learn with 3 or 4 guests in that room. It's a different diversity than if there's 1 or 2. It's better. That's why if you can build it up to 3 or 4, maybe 5 new people, the diversity in that room is exquisite.
Yeah.
So I've really kind of went off on that, and I'm sorry. Did I miss any good questions? Our biggest events have been sniff and sample get-togethers. Sniff and sample, and that's good, but it doesn't address lifestyle unless you do lifestyle with it. And then you have to check and see how it duplicates. And Sonia's software will be able to look, she can look at your group and tell you whether it worked. And if it does, fine. If it works, great. I'm a little hesitant about that one because I've seen that not duplicate as well as I would like. So again, lifestyle, helping people share consistently, help people share with friends in a duplicable way, emphasizing the Young Living lifestyle and essential rewards. Doesn't that make sense?
It does.
It's so easy if you just keep focused on that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, it can be done. It can be done, yes, thank you. All these people on the call, you're welcome. I'm so glad that I got to do this for you. Thank you for being here. Sonia, thank you for inviting me.
Vicki, it was such an honor and a joy. You are just...
For me, it was an honor and a joy for me. So
yeah.
I just really thank you all. And thank you for what you're doing, getting out there, helping people. And Sonia, such a great leader. So I'm so glad that you've got her to look up to and to help you get this going correctly. So let her help guide you on this, because with her software, she'll know if what you're doing is working.
Yes.
Chris talks about your ing, your ing in the book. He says, is what you're doing working? And if it's not, you should be doing something else. So let's see what we can make to work. So thanks, everybody. Yeah, great call. Thank you again for having me. And if you have any questions, send them to Sonia, and she and I will chat.
Okay.
That sound good?
That sounds lovely.
Okay.
Can I say how much I love your picture in the background, by the way?
Oh, my daughter painted that. She's an artist. Thank you. This is actually a print of a painting that she did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She's a great artist. I'm so proud of her. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being on.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for your time.
Time out of your day and night and sharing your heart with us and your wisdom and your knowledge. We so appreciate it.
Certainly. Okay, take care. You know, maybe we ought to do this again in about maybe 6 months, and we can do a little fine tuning. Well, if you want to.
Yeah, we'd love that. Absolutely.
All right. Okay, thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye.
Thank you, Vicki.